we want to focus on awareness because cybersecurity doesn't just start with software or firewalls. It starts with you as an individual. So what is cybersecurity? Let's start with the basics. Since cybersecurity is the practice of protecting your systems, your devices, your networks, and all of your data from digital attack. Think of it like the digital version of locking your doors and windows, making sure that your car doors are locked correctly at night. At home, at a personal level, cybersecurity means keeping your identity safe, help protecting your bank accounts, and help keeping your home devices clean from viruses or other malware. At work, it's about safeguarding the sensitive company data that you may work with, financial records for the company, as well as proprietary client information. When we talk about digital protection, it's really about protecting the things that matter the most, both in your professional life and in your personal life. You might think that cybersecurity is only an IT problem or something for big companies, but that's not true. One of the things that we see a lot is that the normal process, it starts with human action. It is said that over 90% of cybersecurity attacks are not hackers or a machine failure. They start with the human interaction. This makes you and any of your coworkers, any of your family members, the first line of defense and help keeping sure that your personal data and your company data is held safe. So here's an example. This is something that we see a lot. So you got a hospital employee. They get a suspicious looking email, but it comes from a reputable source. It's like, oh, we've emailed with this person before. They're a common vendor of ours. So they go ahead and open it regardless of the fact that it looks suspicious. Well, now that allowed a threat actor into the system using what they call a credential harvesting attack, meaning that gets you to log in with your account, whether it's your Microsoft account, your Gmail account, or a proprietary system account. And then they get that username, they get the password, and then they're able to get the MFA token as well. So now they have access into your system. They're able to implement, potentially add software into the system, be able to control it, lock it down with ransomware, requiring you, if you do not have the good backups, to pay them a ransom just to unlock your own data. Another example would be a weak password. If you have an individual, say an HR staff member, they are using a fake or low-level password on a web portal, and threat actors are able to get a hold of that password because, say, they use that password in another account and that got exposed in a breach. Well, now they have access to all of the employee data for your company due to that weak password that was used in multiple places. One last example, within finance, you get a lot of companies that submit invoices. You've got vendors that submit invoices. Well, if a person that is working in the accounting, they get a invoice that looks like a reputable company. Hey, we had to change some of our banking information. Please submit to this one now. Well, your accounting person, oh, it looks reputable. It comes through from the right individual. We changed the information and we submitted the payment. Unfortunately, what that accounting employee did not know was that the individual on the other end had been compromised and they were using their email account to try to gain information. Now that that money has been transferred, the company is at a loss for those funds because they're still going to have to cover the invoice, the original and actual invoice for the company, and have to now work within the court system to try to regain any type of funds back. You can see each one of these started with a small mistake by just one person. And it goes to show why every decision that we make online matters, no matter how small or how large. So common threats that you might encounter in today's day and age. Phishing emails are one of the largest attack methods that we see. Now, these are going to range from fake messages that look legitimate, but are designed to trick you into giving up credentials or into clicking on a bad link. One of the things that we're also seeing nowadays in an effort to bypass security software, threat actors are using phishing emails that look like a legitimate PDF or that with the link hidden inside of the PDF, usually behind actually a service like Cloudflare. So nothing shows up as malicious or illegitimate on a virus scan. So it looks like a clean email and gets to go through bypassing spam filters. Another aspect is malware. This is software that can be installed silently, and it can be ransomware that locks down your files or just simply data theft where they steal login credentials or other sensitive information and then try to sell it wherever they can. This is one of the reasons that we rely on different layers of defense. You want to pay attention to any security updates. Security updates and patches help close vulnerabilities that are known and discovered that threat actors will use to try to exploit your system. This is also important to keep up to date on software and pay attention to any software that may be older or not in use anymore. A big example of that is Windows 10 is gone end of life. One of the things that means is that Windows 10 will no longer be getting any patching or updates through Microsoft. So once a vulnerability is known, it's going to stay open and it won't be corrected. So anybody that is still using a Windows 10 system would have that vulnerability. Now, threat actors depend upon this because they'll use programs and that to scan for these specific type of vulnerabilities to try to gain access into your system. We also utilize firewalls to help block suspicious traffic. This is a piece of equipment that is hardwired on your network that will help prevent intrusion into the system. Now, at home, we don't typically use a firewall, but there are ways that you can utilize your equipment that you receive from your ISP to help secure the network some, or even adding in additional equipment of your own to try to secure the network further. We also utilize threat detection systems that help alert us when something doesn't look right. This means what it's doing is it's taking a look at actions of services and processes and that within the computer and within the network and going, wait a second, this process here, this thing's looking a little suspicious. It's not behaving like it should. So then that would alert us and then allow someone to take a look at what is going on a deeper level to help determine if this is actually a legitimate process or it's an intrusion attempt or it's a threat actor that's appeared into the system through access somewhere. One other thing to also think about at home is IoT devices, Internet of Things devices. These are like your Amazon Alexa, your smart fridge, your smart thermostat. A lot of these devices have built-in admin controls that allow communication back to their host. Like, for example, the Ring doorbell. That's going to communicate back to Amazon. Unfortunately, some of these items can be easily exploited by threat actors to gain access into your home network. They will utilize the smart device to get access into the network and then try to gain access to other devices on the network, laptops, desktop computers, cameras. There have been multiple cases that we have seen where threat actors have gained access to the network and have even tried talking to individuals through their own camera. So it's one of the things to think about, not just in your professional life, but in your personal life as well, on how you can secure yourself and your data. Now, your role in cybersecurity, you don't have to be IT to do this. Absolutely everybody in a company is a part of this. This is from the lowest person on the dock to the highest person in the office, accounting or sales or HR. everyone that utilizes any computer, tablet, phone, company email address is a part of the process in helping to keep the organization safe. Now, one of the ways that we can do this is using strong, unique passwords. I personally like to recommend passphrases. We were taught traditionally when we were younger that passwords needed to be these convoluted, long, complicated mess of random characters and digits. The difficult part for this is while does help secure against a human, it does not do as well against a computer program. And one of this is because the human mind has difficulty remembering these long strings of characters. So people will typically make them as short as possible. When in reality, a lot of the strength comes from the length of it itself. Using a passphrase, which is a mixture of random words put together, like apple, fly, shop, cart. Now, that is not on the surface a difficult password, but the length is what gives it its strength. And you can add in numbers and random characters as far as punctuation marks, etc. at the end to help make it even more secure. But those will help better than just those overall short but random character passwords that we've been taught. Another thing that is very good to get into the habit of is locking your screen whenever you leave your computer. And Windows makes this easy. By hitting just the Windows and the L key at the same time on your computer, it will automatically take it to the lock screen. So even if you've just got to run to the bathroom for 5 minutes or something, it is always good and safe practice to lock the computer so nobody can access it underneath your credentials or see anything that you are currently working on or proprietary information. Another aspect is always think twice before you click links or open attachments. It is much better to get a second opinion on something or contacting your IT department or IT services before opening anything that you think is suspicious. You know, the old saying, if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, you're looking at a chicken. Just kidding. You know it's a duck. It's better to take a look and have somebody assist you with it if needed before potentially opening yourself up to a threat actor in disguise. And last but not least, always report and document anything suspicious right away. The little thing that you might have noticed might not seem like much in the big picture, but with proper documentation, an IT security individual or another individual within the company can see a pattern of behavior where it's affecting multiple people, but because it's minute on each one of those, it doesn't seem like a lot. But when looking at the big picture and seeing all of these little things, that can showcase that there might be a threat actor trying to get access to the system or has already infiltrated and has access to the system, but just hasn't done anything yet. Get into the habit of using different passwords for different logins. Because unfortunately, when you utilize a password somewhere, now if that website gets compromised well beyond your control and ability to do anything about, well, now you have that password tied to your account. And threat actors will utilize that and they will scan. They will run and brute force through these lists of account usernames and passwords on various sites, just trying to gain access, seeing what works. So use these, build these habits, because when everyone practices them, your overall security posture will improve dramatically. Remember, cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility, and even the smallest action can help prevent a major incident for you as an individual or for your company. So the next step, as we wrap up, again, remember, cybersecurity is not just for tech experts. It is for everyone. Each of us is the first line of defense, and that's empowering because it means we can help stop most attacks before they even happen. This week's action item is simple. I just want you to take a look at your passwords. I want you to check and see if you're reusing them across multiple sites, and are they easy to guess? If they're not, start thinking about what you can do to make them stronger, what practices you can follow to help strengthen your position both personally and professionally. We'll also help cover these items in a future session. Next month, we'll also be going into phishing a lot more detail. One of the most common yet sneakiest threats out there. But when you know what to look for, a lot of things you'll be able to spot from a mile away. Well, this is all I have for today. I thank you very much for taking the time to help strengthen your own security awareness today. Remember, every secure action you take, every password you strengthen, every suspicious email you report, all of this helps not just protect your data, but the entire organization's data. Because in the end, cybersecurity starts with you. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. We look forward to seeing you in future sessions.